What is up, guys? It is the Citrus Spanier today, coming at you with a review for Episode 2 of Sword Art Online Season 2. So, let's get started. Alright, so this episode wasn't really about Kirito or the kind of story of the show. It was more of setting up a lot of the roles of the world and telling us more about what Gun Gale is all about, including something that I thought was very interesting. It starts out with Sinon in a dungeon fighting a monster, and this is actually answered a question that I was kind of wondering, what kind of game Gun Gale Online was. It seemed like up to this point, from what I could gather, it was mostly a PvP game where people fought each other, and that's pretty much all that happened, and maybe there was a little bit of monster killing on the side, but there are dungeons and you can kill monsters. And something else to note that was pretty cool is whenever Sinon shot a pillar, a stone pillar was actually destroyed and fell on top of the monster. So there are destructible environments, and later on there are even more destructible environments, which will make it interesting to see how the show plays out, because you can't just hide behind a wall, you can't just hide behind something, it might get destroyed, bombs will blow it up, things of that nature. So then we go more into the kind of different areas and different groups that you'll find in the game. So in Gun Gale, you're going to find the player killers, it seems like, the player hunters, the people who go around and hunt other players, and then you have people that hunt the monsters. So Sinon and a group of player hunters are basically trying to hunt down, or they're simply waiting for a bunch of the monster hunters to pass through, because they know that they're going to pass by. They always pass by this location, and they knew, I guess they had intel that they were going to do it, and they were going to ambush them and kill them. Now, the monster hunters, I guess, couldn't take any other path, and they have to take this path. So, Sinon and the group of player hunters are going to stop the monster hunters. However, there is a man with a cloak, and they have a bad feeling about him. Although the other people don't have a bad feeling about him, but Sinon does. Sinon shoots the person who has a physical attack weapon. Apparently the physical attack weapons are better against players, whereas energy weapons, from what I gathered, are better against monsters, not as good against players. And the idea is that they're all going to attack, and the big guy, who they didn't know was a bodyguard at the time and didn't know he had a weapon, they didn't really think it was a big deal. Although Sinon did try to shoot him, he dodged the bullets. So, I guess it's like the Matrix now, but whatever. And then it continues, and they basically get down into an arena, and in the arena, well, I would say, I call it an arena, but I don't really know what it is. They do some battling out, kind of out in the field, and then the next couple shots, like a couple minutes later, they're like in this kind of like arena thing, and they're hiding behind things. So they kind of shifted the terrain a little bit. I'm not really sure what went on there, but anyway, they're in a different kind of terrain, and they're hiding behind things, and they're being destroyed by this guy with a minigun, because the guy in the cloak actually had a minigun, and they didn't know about that. And apparently the minigun does make you slower, but this guy's like a tank now, because he's just got this huge minigun shooting everybody. So, another thing that's really interesting to note is whenever they were going to fight the guy in a minigun, Sinon actually comes and is trying to direct orders to the guys to actually, flank him and take out the opposition. Now, the guy with the minigun is very powerful, and he's already killed a couple people on the player hunting side. Now, the only thing that I kind of thought was weird is whenever they were fighting in the game, and the one guy was like, we should just log out rather than give them a victory, or we should do this, or we should do that, he seemed kind of like, almost like legitimately scared that he was going to die, and this kind of was weird to me, because there's really no, there's nothing about Gun Gale that's dangerous. Sure, there's Death Gun right now, and that's a different variable, but Death Gun isn't here right now, so even if they did die in the game, I don't understand the penalties there. Hopefully those will be explained here shortly, because really, I just don't see a point in, there's no point in, being scared of dying. It's a game, so maybe you lose levels, or you lose experience, maybe it puts you back pretty far. But the one guy does do something pretty cool. He actually has grenades, and he does basically sacrifice himself to throw a grenade. So he basically runs in, throws a grenade, and dies, but then it blows up two people. And then from here, Sinon has to basically 1 versus 1 this guy with a minigun. And it's actually pretty interesting to note that whenever she was running up to the tower, she gets all the way up. She's doing some like parkour to get up to the tower, and she jumps off of the tower, and one of her legs are shot off. So that is actually a pretty cool thing to note, that you can actually shoot limbs off, but I'm not sure what that does. Like, I don't know if there's bleeding damage, or, if the leg just kind of comes off or it grows back. I'm guessing it stays off until you either do some sort of medical thing or something similar to that, or you die and you respawn. So it should be interesting to see how that turns out. But obviously, I mean, she can't do much with one leg, but she's already in the air. So she does like this crazy maneuver, 360 no scoop or something. I don't even know what she does, but she just shoots the guy in the face and he ends up dying. Now, this is actually cool to note because apparently you can do, like, air shots. There's a bunch of different mechanics to go into the, almost like acrobatics or something like that. I don't know if that has to do with your agility level, because Sinon seems to be pretty fast. She can do flips in midair. Maybe everybody can do that. Maybe it's just that something that everybody can do. But Sinon is supposedly the best sniper in GGO and Gun Gale Online. So I'm interested to see more. She is going to be the second main character to Kirito, because I don't think Asuna or anybody else really gets into Gun Gale Online. It's mostly Kirito, and it's going to be her as well. So I don't know how they're going to meet, but it will be interesting to see, because I know that she's a character, and they work together, probably. And I'm looking forward to the next episode. This was more of a setup episode, even though, well, not really a setup episode, more of like a informational episode, and then at the very end we see some Alfheim gameplay of them in Alfheim Online, and Kirito kind of ends off the episode saying, I need to talk to you about something to Asuna. So I'm guessing it's about going into Gun Gale, even with the threat of possibly being killed by Death Gun. At this time, he's still a wild card. They don't know if he's actually dangerous. Anyway, I thought this episode was pretty good. It gives us lots of information about Gun Gale Online, and I'm looking forward to the next episode because I think Kirito might be going in next episode. I'm assuming it is going to be next episode, maybe not, maybe episode 4, but I'm guessing around episode 3 we're going to see Kirito go into the game for the first time, and we'll see how it plays out from there. See you guys later.